Best survival video games. The best survival games put you in dangerous worlds with limited resources, leaving you to depend on your own ingenuity and resourcefulness for survival. Though most of these games have some sort of multiplayer element that lets you recruit your buddies for some help. So in this video, we're going to discuss the best survival video games. But before starting the video, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe to never miss out on any of our videos. Number 10. Don't Starve. Don't starve and don't be fooled by those charming hand-drawn Tim Burton-esque graphics. This is as dark, brutal, and unforgiving as survival games get, with strong roguelike elements that make slaying weird monsters, evil spiders, and creepy pigmen a specialty as important as collecting the materials you'll need to craft tools, traps, and weapons, or simply stay warm and cook your food. Don't Starve is a game where you need to manage your time and resources carefully, and regard permadeath as another step on a learning journey. The longer you survive, the more seems at stake. With some cracking additions like the Reign of Giants expansion or the nautically themed Shipwrecked, Don't Starve is a game that just keeps expanding, adding features, and getting more engrossing as the months pass. And the Hamlet DLC coming later this year promises to continue the trend, with the addition of housing, new shops, and a load of new items to play with. Number 9. The Forest. The Forest is the place where survival and survival horror meet. It's bad enough being the sole survivor of a plane crash, stranded deep in a sinister forest. Worse still, when that forest is haunted by flesh-eating cannibal mutants who want nothing more than to eat you alive. This is a game with a serious day-night cycle where you spend your daylight hours repairing the camp, setting traps, and scavenging for food, getting ready for the nightly onslaught from the creepy cannibal hordes. They're ferocious and smart, and they work together, but you can explore their settlements and take the battle back to them. The forest is dark and genuinely scary solo, and not much easier on the nerves in co-op mode. Number 8. Valheim. The game was developed by a 5-person team, building on development work which Richard Svensson had undertaken as a side project in his spare time. Since its early access release, Valheim has achieved both critical and commercial success, being praised as a rare exception of a refined early access game. A month after its release, it has sold over 5 million copies and was one of the most played games on Steam. Valheim was definitely one of the most enthralling indie releases to come out in the last year. It gives players access to all of the things they've come to know and love, with releases like Terraria and Minecraft, while simultaneously amping up the difficulty to appease gamers who are craving more of a challenge. It's pretty easy to be overwhelmed in Valheim, and the bosses can be downright punishing for those that are unprepared. Players seeking a hardcore adventure that will challenge their survival skills by forcing them to contend with hordes of enemies, strong bosses, and even the elements will love what Valheim has to offer. Number 7. Frostpunk. Some survival games are much more realistic than others. Many of the titles on this list feature mechanics that players must follow in order to survive, but many of them are skewed or simply non-existent. The hunger meter is annoying for some in Minecraft, but it won't outright kill the player. That's what makes games like Frostpunk such an engrossing and difficult experience. The survival aspects in this top-down strategy survival game aren't there as side mechanics, they actually matter. Those that can't correctly allocate their food storage, fuel supplies, and other assorted materials will find themselves with a dying population bent on civil war. Frostpunk isn't just about surviving, it's about ensuring everyone survives, and that can be an incredibly difficult task. Players won't just need to collect assigned supplies in the game, they'll also have to answer tough questions and make hard decisions to make it out alive. Number 6. Rust. Possibly one of the most infamous survival games in the genre, Rust has become known for the emergent gameplay held therein. Open voice chat allows players to talk amongst themselves as though they were standing next to one another. This makes for fascinating team dynamics as people cheat, manipulate, or support one another while fending off hunger, thirst, and cold. The objective of Rust is to survive the wilderness using gathered or stolen materials. Players must successfully manage their hunger, thirst, and health, or risk dying. Despite the presence of hostile animals such as bears and wolves, the primary threat to the player is other players due to the game being solely multiplayer. Combat is accomplished through firearms and various weapons such as bows. In addition, vehicles controlled by non-player characters will occasionally roam, attacking armed players. Rust features crafting, though initially limited until the discovery of specific items in the game's open world. To stay protected, players must build bases or join clans to improve their chance of survival. Raiding is a major aspect of Rust. Adding to this is a highly customizable base system, flying vehicles, a randomized map, and dense weapon variety. You're left with an incredible experiment into what the genre can be at its craziest. Number 5. Among Trees. In early access, Among Trees is a survival game that focuses on the cozier and more gentle elements of survival games. If you're looking for a game that doesn't precisely pit you against the elements as much as let you curl up in them, look no further. At Among Trees' core is the focus on exploring its beautifully colorful world, with several systems to help you do this: base building to escape the elements, plant growing to sustain yourself, and tool crafting to make survival easier. And if you're looking for some extra kick, you can introduce some dangerous animals into your landscape, or add some tense man versus wild elements, with options to despawn all of the above if you're looking for that pure, peaceful, escapist fantasy. Number 4. Unreal World. The first release of Finnish survival roguelike Unreal World didn't contain all the seeds that would make it one of the world's greatest and most distinctive survival games. By the mid-90s, solo developer Sami Murinen had discovered the formula that would allow the game to endure for more than 2 decades. Still in development, with regular updates adding major features as well as applying tweaks, Unreal World is a game about survival in harsh, realistic conditions. It's a survival game that existed before the flood of early access craft 'em ups, and it offers a more complete and compelling vision than anything else in the genre. The cost is complexity, an old-fashioned interface, and basic graphics, but the rewards are well worth the effort. Number 3. No Man's Sky. It's easy to oversell the idea that No Man's Sky was a flop on release, and it's only clawed its way back to respectability in the years of updates since. Closer to the truth would be to say that it did a great job of providing a certain kind of experience at launch. Now it provides a more varied set of experiences. From the beginning to now, one of those experiences has been survival. If you want to play No Man's Sky on a set of hostile worlds, scrabbling to get enough resources to build shelter or to fuel the next desperate jump across the galaxy, you can do that. It will now reward you with prettier and more varied planets, giant sandworms, mechs to pilot, pals to partner with, and much more. There are still better survival games on this list, 2 of them in fact, but few can match No Man's Sky. Number 2. Escape from Tarkov. Escape from Tarkov is a savage evolution of survival games with just a pinch of battle royale thrown in for flavor. Instead of playing in a persistent world, you spawn on a map with a few other players and several dozen enemy NPCs. To survive, you have to reach an exfiltration zone on the other end of the map, but you also get to keep anything you loot to sell on a player-driven marketplace or use in subsequent rounds. It's a lot like poker, only way scarier. What really sells Tarkov, though, is its hyper-realistic gunplay and ridiculously deep gun customization. When players die in a raid, they lose everything, including loot and the equipment they brought into the raid. Players can insure weapons and equipment they brought in, which enables that gear to be returned to them if not taken by other players. Number 1. Rimworld. It's been 5 years of early access, but Rimworld has finally reached version 1.0. In this management and survival sim, you oversee a colony of randomly generated people stranded on a procedural alien planet. Expand the base, keep your colonists healthy and sane, and deal with disasters thrown your way by Rimworld's AI director, which can include anything from disease outbreaks to alien attacks to weather events. The toughest challenge may just be making your colonists simply to get along with each other. Each one has a distinct personality, desires, and moods. This was all for today. Hope you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the bell icon for more updates and notifications.